Hello and welcome to the Disney Channel! I'm your host, iCarly, and I'm not insane. Today we're showing stuff, and I forgot to check who's the first one to show stuff.
Somebody.
It's probably someone. Would be interesting if nobody was showing actually.
It's like 10 people.
It is. Alright, first up, Tintin!
Alright. The Disney Channel, it might not be, but those characters from Cleveland sure are here. Let's see here. So, just gotta download it. No. This isn't happening. This isn't happening.
You did not send it?
It looks like I didn't, so let's go with someone else and I will send it up.
Alright. Next up, Mariana!
Hello. It's the fast-paced presentations round. Hi, I'm Mariana, and I wanted to share what I did for Nordic Game Jam. Last week I went there and I ate cake, but that's not all. I decided to go solo on a game jam because I wanted to mess around with horror ambiences, and I decided to learn how to make maps for Garry's mod, I guess, and I used Hammer Editor to make kind of a map walking simulator, and added my own custom sounds in there. So this was a Lego prototype, and this is like me doing 3D, very kind of inexperienced in this, but I made kind of a map. It's mostly empty, but it has sounds. So for Garry's mod, I mainly worked on the ambient sounds. I didn't get a chance to switch up any of the other sounds, so the footsteps and stuff are like the default ones, but all the ambient sounds were like the ones I made, so I'll show those off if I can. Yes. So that's that was a map. Any questions? James.
Did you make it during Nordic Game Jam?
Yeah, but I kind of, because I couldn't do it second day because I got a bit like overwhelmed there. I made like parts of it later here, coming back home. But yeah, most of it. Yeah.
Thoughts on Hammer? Did you like it? Do you like working in Hammer?
Yeah, it's much easier than like jumping into 3D software. Yeah, okay.
How long does it take to get these skills? A whole life or just a half life?
That was really good.
James.
What was it with Nordic that made you feel overwhelmed, or was it just personal?
That's. I think it was a lot of people for me. Like I'm not so good with being in a crowd, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so.
Alright. Are you ready now, Tintin?
Yes, I am.
Alright, Tintin.
There. I hope my crew is watching me. Or well, mine and Sebastian's crew. See here? Cause we crew something. Yes, so, The Legend of Dickie Pride, aka I went to Nordic Game Jam and I'm still kind of hungover from it. Well, I was this morning, feeling a little better now. So, accommodation was discounted and was seriously right next to the thing. Nordic Game Jam, by the way, is a game jam. It is 48 hours and, like Mariana just told us about it. Or no, it's in Scandinavia. Yes, it's in Copenhagen. Accommodation was discounted and seriously right next to it. This time the hostel was worth it. 6-person room for 4 days, only 550 Swedish crowns. Also, it was sponsored by Lego, and you know what Lego also has in Copenhagen? Not only one Lego shop, but a actual Lego used Lego shop. All food was vegan and it was really good vegan food. I could eat everything, 10 out of 10. We also got pizza. Right next to it, Buff Burger Bar, hole in the wall, but better than a mommy monkey. I do not say that lightly. Free hot sandwiches during the whole jam, with often non-vegan cheese, but also vegan cheese. Confusingly enough, this was labeled toast, which, to a Swede, in my case at least, refers to the stuff you put in a toaster and spread jam over, so that was weird. The jam itself, atmosphere was bit too professional than I had expected, but it was still a nice event, and I got the feeling everyone was trying to be agreeable and not look for a fight, which is very refreshing when you're an artist. It was also sponsored by Lego, so there were talks about playing and also icebreakers with Lego activities. We turned Make Something About People into Lego men doing a religious war, which was pretty fun. And here's our game. It was me and a friend from Spel. I hunted down like 3 other people. A sound guy, an art guy, and a programming guy. Sound guy was a cool dad. Art guy was a 3D artist with mad skills, aimed to get into art school, and programming guy did some good stuff. And then there was also me and Sebastian. I do art, Sebastian does programming. And Secrets Together, which was the theme, kind of turned into gang warfare, and eventually it was like, but it also sounds a bit Sherlock Holmesy, and then I was like, we can do something about teddy boys, and one of them had an extremely meme-worthy name, so we made a rhythm game about shanking people. And our process looked like this. Day 1, formed a team, discussed ideas, did art direction. Day 2, awesome artist, who was not me, improved art direction. We made assets, sound, and art. Programmers did absolute magic. Day 3 was final touches on the game and some polish in the shape of blood. Also Tears of Frustration, which might have been a blood too. And my goal was to make some nice stuff from our portfolio. I think I succeeded and I'm happy with the project. I would like to thank Thoughtful for doing the music and being overall chill, Twinkle Sunny Sun for improving and adding gold to everything art-wise, and Programmer Glowbox for telling me about jobs I actually want to do, and C. Heiji for being a good travel buddy and a level-headed teammate that made the entire thing much more comfy. So here's the game, and the entire thing is that you have music playing in the background, and as soon as an enemy comes towards your character, or your character walks towards an enemy, he animates with 3 frames. You shank the guy. That is what you do until you get to the end, where you get to rescue your boyfriend. So yeah, the Billy Bust Up team would be so proud of me. I think not, because the game is actually violent, and you know their thing is non-violence. But yeah, we made this game in 3 days. We made it. We survived Nordic Game Jam 2024. Any questions?
What's your review of the sound guy?
See here. Well, he showed up. He made a song. That's... I think the programmers had more contact with him, so...
We worked with the same guy last time we were there.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that. Let's see here. So... Yep.
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, sorry, Brian.
Was the event actually sponsored by Lego, or was it just planned there?
Actually, Flan was not there.
What?
But it was sponsored by Lego, and like, let me tell you, they had like a Lego booth, and they had Lego people talking about how to make games that people want to play and have fun with. And there were also like an entire Lego set that you could just, like a huge table full of Lego that you could just come in and play whenever you needed to recharge your brain a little bit. So it was like, it was legit. It was 300% legit. Yep.
All right, thank you. To give us another tale or perspective on Nordic, Schu.
Okie dokie. Yeah, my name's Schu. This is another Nordic Game Jam presentation. I went as well. It was a very nice place. I really loved it. It was the biggest game jam I've ever been to, and I thought it was very well run. I got my portrait drawn by a dude that was there, just like drawing portraits, so that's what I look like apparently. Mark Brown gave a keynote speech that was very cool. Basically, the team was myself as a programmer designer. I worked with Milan, who's a tech artist at Playdead, the dude on the right. And then the dude in the middle is Gustav, who did music and sound effects. I had worked with Milan previously for Global Game Jam, and we made the game that's pictured there, which is like a little pinball game. That game jam went better than any other game jam I've done, so my main goal for this one was like kind of try to see if we can recreate that. We had like kind of the same team composition, just a different audio engineer. Yeah, so we just kind of want to see if we could recreate the magic. And we made this game called Cytoplasm. I will now play it. I think you're right. You right.
Extract.
Where I don't know this. Thank you.
Open it down.
I don't understand this UI. Here we go. Oh, just extract that.
Open.
Yeah, go on to this program first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Someone support
So I need.
Doing great.
I need help.
You mean emotional support or technical support?
technical support.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't do that.
Okay, yeah.
It's
I'm choking right
How
now.
about the 7 zip?
Where's
Already
the
bought it.
7
And then
zip?
extract here.
Thank you. Oh, extract here. Okay. Okay. All right, it's a 45-second game, so we should be good. Boom. So basically how it works, there's a laser, there's a bunch of dots. You can drag lines from dots to basically direct this laser. And you're trying to basically cover the entire walls of this cellular organism thing. As you see, the line moves because every single dot is moving slightly. So that basically means like where it hits the line will move a little bit, and so it creates these kind of arcs. And yeah, you have 45 seconds. You're just trying to hit as much of this thingy as you can. What more can I say? I mean, the biggest thing, like, we kind of wanted to make basically like a little toy that's like as polished as kind of we could make it in a short amount of time. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. Like, I feel like it's a pretty complete little experience. Had a local leaderboard, which I think works really well at like game jams and other events where there's like a showcase. Yeah, I mean, this was kind of the showcase event, which it was nice. Like, our game screenshot got thrown up on there. Pretty sure it's just because we posted it in a chat where they were asking for screenshots, but felt cool. And then, yeah, we have the world record holder of cytoplasm back there. He is signing autographs if anyone wants one. As you can see from the zoomed in screen, he filled up like the entire high score screen. But yeah, I'm going to host a tournament because I did that for my last game that had a leaderboard. So after SGDC, there will be a tournament. There's going to be cookies for everyone and candy bars for the winners, and all are welcome to join. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions? Yeah.
What was the jam theme?
It was weird. So we had 3 themes. One was reflection, which was what we did. And then sense of belonging and keeping secrets. And we ignored those 2. It was like you could pick any of them or all of them. Yeah. Yes, Pontus.
Was there anything in the game jam you hadn't done before specifically? Like, did you learn something?
For me, it was more like about practice and just like creating a complete game. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess like it was a lot of ray casting, which I haven't done like a ton of ray casting, like just to calculate all of those, and a lot of line renderers. Like I hadn't done a lot with line renderers, so like just figuring out that kind of base mechanic was it took me longer than it would have now. Like now, I think I could do it much quicker. But that was a nice thing was like because we came up with an idea quickly. We like kind of got a working prototype as quick as possible. I feel like that really helped us because we were able to kind of play test quickly, and then like we knew it was kind of fun, and we just were able to focus like basically the last 2 days on like polishing as much as possible. Yeah, Brian?
Did you, I mean, I know it was a game jam, so it's a short time span. Did you ever consider doing multiplayer, local multiplayer with it? Like having different colors that were sprayed? If 2 different people were like kind of dragging things and reflecting things who look like.
That's I like that idea. That's an interesting concept. Yeah, like kind of yeah. I like that. No, I hadn't considered that at all. Like I think that would be more ambitious than I would want to, and then we'd have to like do controllers and stuff. So I never considered it, but
you're using a mouse, I assume.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
that wouldn't be feasible really 2 player.
Yeah.
Cool. Just fight over the mouse.
Okie dokie.
Alright, thank you. Next up, Hugo.
How do you prepare for this also? Where did you go now? I don't know. It's almost gone. Because you were a team every time.
That's why you don't leave during SGDC.
Yeah, and like he prepared the slides, so.
Yeah, you made everything. Well, that was our game jam experience as well. We were looking for the kid, and then he's just gone for 3 hours. There he is!
Hey, look at this.
I thought we were last.
What's
This is-
happening?
this is how
You
it works.
prepare the slides. You go here in control thing.
What happened to this?
It's your
It's
slides.
it's infinite. It's really long.
It's downloading. I think.
No, it should be fine. It's just really long.
Do your magic.
What would happen if we didn't have a? Just hypothetically, what would happen if we didn't have a slideshow?
Yes.
You just show the game. We show the game.
Okay.
No.
We can start showing the game then. While
See, it's like one.
loading.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry about this. Yeah, let's just.
Isn't this cool? Just click on it.
There's a theme.
So yeah, like we also participated in Nordic Game Jam. We have some cool slides that Harry prepared, but it's loading. So we're gonna show the game we did.
Put it in full screen, please.
Yeah, full screen.
Sure.
So yeah, Condiment Chaos. We kind of like stretched the theme a little bit because like we use reflection because we have to bounce the food in those fountains. So the idea is that you have like chocolate, cheese, and ketchup, and the clients want a specific flavor. So chocolate, so we have to bounce stuff here to reach the clients. If Harry can do it.
I'm trying.
Yeah. And then you gain points. And then you gain points. And you have like timeout. So there is a high score game. The clients go getting harder as the time goes, like shorter time span. And that's it.
We did it in 3 days.
Yeah.
2 days.
The slides are ready?
I don't know. Okay, let's see.
Take a look.
Yes, there we
Yeah,
are. Let's
okay.
go. So this is Condiment
You can
Chaos.
talk.
Should I go for it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. There we go. This is Condiment Chaos. It's a game by 3 of us because you only know 3 of us. There's more people
Yeah, okay.
on the team. Yeah. So we thought we'd go it in 4 steps. So we talk about the jam, and then the team, and then the game, and then the postmortem. So this was the jam. A lot of nice pictures of the venue. It was a really nice, like glassy, airy, light-filled university. It was very nice. The theme was kind of like a trio, and so I think like Schu said, like it was reflection was what we chose, but like it was like a 3 like reflection, keeping secrets, and sense of belonging. You could do all, and we did have one of those ideas, but it got lost in the workshop. We have Mark Brown. That was a cool thing. Then we have Mikkel here. He's playing a VR game, which is also like a really cool game. Somebody made in like 2 days, cool stuff. You had to like place landmines and try to like not step on landmines if you feel like. And then the team was this many people because it was originally the 3 of us, but then we also kind of were looking for an artist, but then the artist who we found had a friend who kind of tagged along. And then we also had a sound designer, which this is his studio. He is nowhere to be found. Do not confuse him with the glass bottle on the table. This is the game, but you have seen it already, so we will skip this slide. Just a little bit of extra on the art. We kind of, at least when we were collaborating with the artist on the art, we made sure we did some decent exploration, finding like inspiration outside of games and inside games. You can see some screenshots from like Steven Universe, and that's something outside a game. And then you have Overcooked, obviously. But then the thing is, we really like that sort of like checkerboard, retro American diner vibe. So we thought we would go with something like that, and that's you see that's kind of what we ended up with in the final thing. Postmortem. Does somebody else want to talk about the postmortem? Because
sure.
I've been go for it. I've been talking.
1 minute left.
1 minute? Okay, so what went well? We finished the game. The art is good. Like the artist, like we team up. Like she really could draw really well. So the art is really good. We had like good communication. Like it was the first time that I had like so many people in a jam, like 7 people, and we all like discussing ideas and everything. But we could like get to a common ground and do something and finish it. What went poorly? So we didn't have much time to balance, or we didn't like prioritize it enough. Like as we went like developing stuff, like we saw that it was too hard. Well, it was like, okay, later we have a lot to do, so later we see that, and we end up like balancing here. So before the lunch, like we get like 1 hour and change a few stuff. We get the game way more easier to play or pleasant.
It's a way better game.
Yeah. Okay, so for sleep, like I was always planning to sleep normally, and like we ended up like sleep 3-4 hours in these 2 days.
5 seconds.
That's you.
What will improve? We'll have playable things, we'll have time for playtesting, and we'll have a more cohesive art style. Yay, thank you. Questions? QR code. What happened to the... What happened to the... the QR code. It's a really nice QR code.
It is.
Yeah, if you want to see the game.
If you want to see. You can play it on mobile. It's actually pretty charming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it. Questions?
No? Okay, now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Alright. Who's next in the random queue? Jacob.
I got company. Yes. Where do we have me? We have me. My name is Jacob. I presented here one time before. I don't have a PowerPoint or anything fancy. But yeah, like last time I talked about, it was my second week I think here, and I'm doing the sound and music for Glen's game Aquamundo. And this is my second to last day here. So I've done my 5 weeks of my internship in my bachelor's degree in music production. So yeah, it's been a great time, and I think me and Glen will continue working on Aquamundo for the foreseeable future. So yeah, just thought about showing like a song that I composed the last couple of days, and then you'll hear a bit more in Glen's presentation. So yeah, I did something this morning, and I'm not too sure about how it sounds, but yeah, hopefully it's okay. That was that. So yeah, it's really my first time doing a game soundtrack. So yeah, it's super fun and definitely something I would like to continue with. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be here in the future or otherwise. Feel free to reach out if you have anything to ask. Yeah.
What were your inspirations?
Like the first things, like Glenn shared a few like of his inspiration with Planet Coaster and Parkitect. Those two soundtracks, I think, was just a starting point. And then it has it's gone a few different ways. I wanted it to be kind of groovy and funky, and I tried different like instruments to have as leads, and the more I've worked with it, it has become more and more horns. So it's definitely horn focused now. But yeah, a few like old Mario games I've had like a few songs, but has it been more? Animal Crossing I checked out for briefly. So yeah, a few different things. Any more questions?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now to talk more about the game with the horny music. Glenn!
Hello. What?
Go for a record.
Showcasing that game.
That's a weird water park.
How do I get out of this? Oh.
All just for her.
Yeah, you close that, my bad.
Thanks everyone cleaning up after him.
Yeah, I'll clean up a bit. Okay. So the past few weeks I haven't worked that much because I just had to take a break for a bit. But I have added a main menu, and I've also added in one of the songs that Jacob made to it. So I'll just play it now. I don't think I have time to show the whole song. But the inspiration was Roller Coaster Tycoon, because like there also in the beginning it shows different parts, and like it gets you excited. You can get motivated to start your own part. So these are like kind of inspirations. And then also I've worked on some smoother animations for the sliding, and also I finally added some slide physics. Also in the background there's a different song also made by Jacob, and some bird noises. Like I like this song because it's the start of the park. It's closed, so it's like chill. But let's add some people. I'm especially like happy with how they fall in the water. It's smooth. also they're queuing, so that's also new. So I've just been working on some stuff to make things look nicer, look more polished. Yeah, also this ladder animation has been... So my goal is to not ever have it that suddenly in one frame there's a sudden jump. I always want to smooth lerp between animations. Oh, it's quite acute.
One attraction.
Yes. Yeah, I'll quickly just turn down the... No, turn down the volume. Oh yeah, I'll give you a bit. Any questions?
Okay, over here.
Oh.
Can you open up the other slide? Can you open all the slides?
It's stressing you too much.
I want to give people a demo.
But they decided.
No, they still want that
They
one.
still... Yeah.
It must be worth the
So
wait.
my second question is, will they ever give up
No.
in the queue?
Not right now at least. They're committed once they... You can only make them, the interval between them go faster.
I'm happy, thank you.
Yes.
Aaron has a question.
Aaron, yes?
In future, will you be able to display your park on the main menu?
Yeah, so I'm not sure because I like the idea of having parks that are not your own as like inspiration when you start the game. But yeah, it's also a good idea. So I'm open to discussing it and trying it out maybe. Yes.
Do you plan to implement like some people trying to cut line or this kind of stuff?
Maybe at some point in the far future. James?
If people want to play the game in advance, is there a way they could subscribe to you or somehow so they can get access to it?
Also, first of all, homies in the house, you can get access to like demos that I release sometimes. You just have to join the Discord server. Oh, now that I think about it. Wait, no. I'll go to the main menu. Sorry. If you want to join the Discord or wishlist the game, you can use those codes. So yeah, homies get access. I also have a Patreon where, yeah, if you pay a certain amount of money in each month, then you get some perks. I want to have a new demo next month with all of these things that I'm showing now.
Question from Lena?
I just wanted to say ask like what next, like what are you gonna implement next?
First, I want to just like finish the editors for all these things now and make them work the same way because I've kind of like evolved. When I added like the slides, I wanted to try new things, and now I've learned some things, so I want to apply those to all the other editors. And after that, lazy rivers. Is that all? Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Now for Andrei. Proper English would be
So, hello again. This time I'll show you a little demo that I quickly made. So this is just the prototype. Pretty much all the art is like placeholder or stuff that I can, actually see a bit. So I have like a basic lobby where you can invite friends and stuff. You can select 5 characters, And the maps, 4 maps with difficulty level based on the weather. It's very basic wave system where enemies come. You can collect power-ups, but this system probably I'll remove because I don't like it. I don't want to select power-ups while you try to avoid danger. So yeah, you have time to prepare for to kill the wave, and then you have to kill all the remaining enemies. And after this, you will have a time to prepare to select from the shop more power-ups. And yeah, there are a lot of small power-ups. And then there are multiple waves, and then on the last wave you'll fight the final boss that has some special moves, which right now they are not animated. You will see. So yeah, you just fight him, you beat the level, and that's it. I can skip. And at the end, after you beat him, you have to clear the remaining enemies, and then you'll have the end screen where you see the damage that you dealt, and that's about it. Pretty basic game. Actually, I had more slides. So what I did this week, I tried to implement new powers. So I have some basic ideas, some basic stuff like melee attack with fire that just sets the enemy on fire, and then I'll have some fire trails and more stuff. I've also implemented some ice. Actually, another fire effect is the fire walk thing, where you walk and you leave a trail of fire. And then I've implemented some ice stuff, ice effects, like slow, and then if you're slowed 3 times, you will freeze the enemy. So I have like some ice wall stuff, and then some more ice effects, like ice nova, stuff like that, and yeah, more effects. Like I have like a circle of stuff of lightning, and another one which is like a cloud that shoots bolts. And yeah, that's some ideas that I try to make. The art is still in progress, I would say. And yeah, there's no sound for it yet. But all these abilities should work in multiplayer pretty much. Yeah, that's it. The end. Questions? Yes.
So Big Joe. What's his story? Why is it?
There is no story yet, but yeah, he's just big. Yeah. That's it. Any other questions? Yeah.
What are you using for the effects?
I'm using Niagara particle system of Unreal. There are some. I looked up some effects in the marketplace and then tried to edit them, but yeah, they are still not complete. Yes.
It was the same question basically. Someone from the chat wanted to know where you got the VFX from. So.
Yeah, there are some marketplace assets that I just edit a bit, and yeah, that's it. Other questions? Yes.
How long have you been working on this?
So I've been on and off. I started working last year, but I wanted to finish it this year, so I worked mostly this year on it, so a couple of months only. Yeah, other questions? Yeah.
What's our inspiration for the game?
I wanted to make another game actually that I showed in the previous presentation, which is more like Project Zomboid. But before I tackle that project, I want to make like a simple project with abilities and stuff. So I looked at something more simple, like Vampire Survivals. So basically, I'm trying to do something like Vampire Survivals, but learn to do ability systems and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you have any like thing in mind for like what separates this from like the many like I guess Vampire Survivor?
The most important thing that I want to do is multiplayer. So it will be multiplayer. I cannot, it's hard to show multiplayer, but most of the ability systems and stuff like that and the mobs and everything is synchronized for multiplayer. Yeah. Other questions? No?
Alright, thank you. Now we're gonna take a Gambit and get a bit dicey. First up is Nicolas.
Hello, I am Nikos, and I am also nervous. It's okay. We'll get through it together. Yes, so I want to talk about the ability system in our game. Specifically, we made graphs. No, that's not how I do it. There we go. But first, here is my pussy. His name is Ignis. Yeah, so our game has abilities. It has a lot of abilities, and it will have more. Yes, and I will now showcase the abilities. Very good. All right, so here's an ability. Pew, pew. Very good. Similarly, here is an ability. There we go. Very cool. Yeah, we have abilities. That's how they can look. More importantly, this ability, which will be necessary for later. This will be on your test. Yes. So, a year ago, we did not have as many abilities, but we did have abilities still. However, every single ability had their own script associated with them. That is a big problem. When every ability is their own script, you get a lot more bugs. Everything is copy-pasted in between every script. There's a lot of repeated work because people, like there are 100 abilities, I don't know where somebody has invented something before. And every ability takes hours to make, especially since you have to hot reload, or you can't hot reload. You have to actually recompile and start the game again. On top of this, there is something that many turn-based games need, which we do, which is prediction. We need to know the consequences of our actions before they happen. This was a very big problem in that system because we had to predict it. Yeah, so some abilities were implemented twice just to support prediction. Oh, very good. So here we have our problem statement. We need to have it be very fast to make an ability. We ideally have very few bugs. And we also need to be able to predict this ability. So enter ability graphs. Every ability is a graph instead of a script file. And then we execute the nodes in sequence. And they can do things like deal damage, gain armor, spawn VFX, push other people, play animations, etc. We did it. we're there. Hell yeah. So, abilities are no longer hard-coded, it's just that easy. The nodes can contain a lot of the work, so no scripting necessary. In fact, all of our abilities in the game is right now based on these graphs. There are no abilities in script. We don't need to recompile. We can actually change the ability as we're running the game. And if we fix a bug, it's fixed everywhere. And it was also fairly fast to implement. Yes! But it feels like there's something missing. This still doesn't solve prediction. So I spent a lot of time. Josh gave me some glances. I got a bit nervous because I had spent some time on this and I had not even thought about this. It's fine. How? So it's simple. We just play out the entire thing and then we go back in time. So we clone the entire world and then we play that ability on that world and then we show the consequences of that world in the UI in the current world. There you go. There's some snags. It's not very easy to clone the world. We had to separate the logical and graphical world. This was the hardest part of the entire thing. A lot of work, a lot of rewriting. But some other benefits come from that. We can save and load combat, and we can do movement undo. I've not implemented any of these, but we can. There are passives and buffs that may interact with abilities, and we need to special case them because those are not part of the graphs. So that's still ongoing work on that. Abilities take time, so playing animations, projectiles, and more. They take time in the game, so if we predict them, we need to remove that part. We use a Unity coroutine system, and we can essentially just replace what happens with in prediction. Oh. And now I don't have any time left, so I can't do this. But we do have a thing. Very good. Questions?
Can I see that last slide?
This is the last slide.
The thing you couldn't. That's my question. If you can finish your presentation.
That's a good question.
No, it's a strict 5-minute time limit. I'm sorry. It's my bad.
I tried to.
Thank you. Yes?
Does the prediction move the RNG?
Right now, we don't have that kind of RNG, but in that case where we actually had that RNG, yes, we would duplicate the RNG seed with the world. Josh?
Is there a way you could preview how it looks in the game?
How we can preview how it looks in the game?
Could there be a video that would show how it looks like?
Sorry. There is, but I ran out of time. That's my bad.
If I ask a long enough question, will you be able to play the video?
Fine. I'll show the video. Show the damn video. Here's the video. It's sped up. It's less than a minute long. Here's how it looks in game. What's your question?
Yeah, so there was this guy I met once. And he asked me, how do you make this game? And I was like, yeah, talk to this other guy.
I can ask an actual question.
Yeah?
Are the nodes, because you said that, well, yeah, now everything is done in nodes so that you can then just do in runtime. But how often are you adding new nodes that give you new abilities? Those, I assume, you still have to code from script.
Yeah. We have more nodes than abilities. Every time we make an ability, generally we'll probably need some kind of edge casing node that we'll add.
I can also say that it was a lot in the start. When we started making abilities with the system, it took a long time because we had to make a lot of nodes.
Yeah.
But then you hit critical mass, and now it's there's usually a node for what we need to do, so because you can use it.
So there are new abilities you come up with that you don't even need to create any new nodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Right, because you just have a logic system that you're holding it on.
Yes? Sure.
Any idea how long the overhaul took?
No. I've kind of that part is not in my brain anymore. I think it was over a period of 2 months.
Yeah.
I might have done other things. But it took a while.
Yeah, roughly 2 months.
Awesome. I think that's it. No?
Yeah.
Oh! No?
Were you just very prepared to clap? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Here like it's question, or you're just super excited? Well, prepare your clappers for Josh. And I'm totally not going to take more than 5 minutes. I'm totally very good at this. Let's see. So I want to talk a little bit about not gameplay, but character customization, which we've done in our video game. If I can log in. Dark mode. Yes. So we're making a dice game. Nicolas talked about it. I'm not going to show gameplay, but what we do want in this game is character customization. Specifically, a big part of the fantasy is that you make your own noble family. So you will customize one of your characters, and they will have kids. And they will marry characters, and you get like this huge family tree. And we wanted to build a system that could support that. This is some of the characters in the game, and I'm going to show you how we did that. First of all, I think this is the most obvious part is these characters are made of layers. You can see here some early asset exploration we did, where there's a bunch of different hairs, noses, eyes, heads, and you combine them together, and then a face emerges. Down here you can kind of see what it looks like in game. You have a bunch of things to choose from, and we can mix and match those. Where it got kind of complicated for us is we wanted to have really good colors. If you use Unity's image color kind of thing, a lot of the colors get kind of washed. So here in the middle, I've kind of taken an asset and I tried to show what it looks like if you just add green in Unity, and then I'll detail our solution. But if you kind of zoom in and notice, you'll notice a lot of the brights kind of get washed away, and a lot of the detail and the shading kind of gets ruined if you just add colors through the inbuilt Unity image thing. So our solution was instead to do what I'll call gradient mapping. Essentially, instead of adding the colors on top, we replace different color values in the assets with colors from a gradient. This gives us, and when I say us, I mean Nina, who is the artist, to draw this a lot more finer control in making sure that it actually looks so she's happy, because if she's not happy, then I'm not allowed to make the system, and that makes me sad. So that's what we kind of do. So you can kind of see here, for instance, for this dusky green color, as it's so aptly named, we have what it looks like when it's shaded, what the core color is, what its highlight color, and a bunch of in-betweens. And this gives us a lot of fine control. This is kind of what it looks like in an editor for us. So we have a huge gradient table where we have all these different colors, and everything is tweaked like that. And when the player selects these colors, it has an asset menu like this. So instead of really selecting a color, they're selecting a gradient of colors that has been hand selected, curated for you to give you a good tasting looking thing kind of stuff. And this is kind of cool. One of the benefits of doing this is it also gives us a lot of control over where the colors are applied. If you look at, again, a single image like this, it's very hard to do, what if I don't want the face to be green? So what we do is we color mask it. So the assets actually look like this. It's like a horror abomination thing. I don't know how Nina is able to produce these assets, but that's not my problem. All of the colors are separated into channels, and those channels we can add different gradients to. So if you can just take the face, you can see we have one gradient for the hair, one gradient for the eye, another gradient for the skin, and so on. Pretty neat. We can actually go even a step further, because if you look at the clothes, even though all the clothes are in the red color, we managed to have several colors in them. And that we do, again, I don't know how this works from an artist workflow, by having a really tight control over the values we use in the asset. So there's a little bit of code snippet, but you can kind of see our main color, the shadow color, for instance, is the value of 0.25f, 25 floats. But the shadow color of the accent is only 0.2f. And this kind of precision allows us to map 3 gradients exactly onto one colored shade. Of course, you can actually see these values in the actual assets, because when we replace them with things with the correct kind of asset value. But this allows us to have a lot of colors baked into a single texture, which is good, because if I add too many textures, Nicolas get unhappy, because he's has to optimize this, and each one of these are 4K maybe, and that's maybe not good. So that's the way we kind of do that, and we get a lot of like control and like a lot of neat things. Like for instance, you can kind of see here we support like what's called like duochroma, like multicolored eyes and like hair highlights and all sorts of neat stuff, which is pretty cool and something I at least haven't seen in 2D character creators. Lastly, we have expressions. Oh shit, there's music. I don't want music. So our characters can make faces. Shit. How do they make faces? Need to make a huge, like... Actually, I'll just save this for next time. How do they make faces? That's a good question. Any questions? Yeah, that was actually it. I'll do that next time because otherwise it's going to take too long.
After you've created your character, are you actually then baking it into a texture so that you use it, or is this coloring happening in some sort of shader all the time?
So what we do is we save all of this as like data so we can recreate it, and then it is being like recreated in a shader all the time. But since the character is being rendered a lot of different places, and Nicolas have created a atlas where we draw them to. Like, so we generated once in runtime, and then every single time that portrait has to show up in the game, we're just like snipping that part of an atlas. So we have to do it once per time that they are kind of like loaded, and there's more technicalities to it that I don't understand because that's where my small brain like kind of ends and Nicolas's begins maybe. Any other questions?
Well, I guess I have a second question. Does it also, do the colors also appear on your sort of in-game? Like, do you have units that also then use this, or?
Yeah, so we have like 3D models, and that's pretty easy, right? We can just add colors to those through a shader. And
3D models that exactly then correspond to the portrait you made?
No. So I don't think I have a really good example. Oh, I have to have one here. Where is your ability graph, Nicolas?
I mean, it's on the Discord. It's a rabbit. There you go.
Yeah. So if you look here, our knights, they're yellow. They have a separate armor. So this is kind of like we give them an armor set, and that you can customize a little bit, but it doesn't really necessarily match the portraits because the portraits is kind of like that's how they look when they're not like in their big armor. And we're doing some work to give them like the portrait close to the health bar to create a connection, and that's like an ongoing thing that we try. Yeah, exactly. So like the colors you choose there will match the other place, and there's some little funkiness where like the lighting on 3D makes the colors be more washed or changed compared to what is on the 2D, and that's something we're still looking at, but roughly that's how we do it. Yes.
Are you using the same color palette for everything? For example, is skin a different color palette, or hair, or the clothing?
I'm not
I know that.
Nina knows that.
So hair and eyes and like all the main colors have the same, like all of those colors. They have all of those to choose from. But skin has its separate color channel just for the skin, which also makes a lot of sense because I put a lot of info into the skin itself because I know there's a lot of I know there's a skin hue that's like the very grayish bright that has kind of like I don't know, gray dark fade on the lips, and then there's someone that have a little bit more rosy lips or something, even though like the skin shade of itself is not that different, and like the blush. So there's like a lot of detail on the skin gradients that isn't in that gradient, the big gradient. Yeah.
What she said.
Xaver first. Woo.
Alright. This one's again experienced embarrassing me not being able to navigate computers.
Should be Grace down.
Alright, I found it. And once again, I apologize for not putting that much effort into designing the slideshow. So the thing we're presenting today and that we're proud to celebrate is that we finally completed our first milestone only 2 weeks after we wanted to complete it.
Woo!
And I actually have a really good excuse. I forgot to plan in my vacation and my sickness. So it's actually exactly these 2 weeks. I'm going to present the art things I made for that. Particularly, I made all the first tier player characters. There will be 3 tiers of those, and these are like the lowest. We want to have these for the demo, so there's like a pool of characters that the player can already recruit there. There's 16 of those in total, and I'm just going to walk through these. So they're separated in 4 major groups. This is the first one. They're pretty much the humans. They call themselves the Rising Dark together, and they're pretty much a collective of different evil cultists that you can get. The idea is in this game that humans are by themselves a pretty shitty group, but by worshipping deities, they can gain a lot of power, and so the good humans that you can rob and kill in the game will worship benevolent deities, and the humans you get to play will worship demons and scarecrows in some case. So the first one is our Dreadmass bandit. That's pretty much just a very basic bandit you get at the beginning. It's somewhat stealthy and somewhat stabby. Then we have the Scarecrow cultist, which we had a lot of fun designing this one. It's supposed to be a magic melee kind of character that tries to steal souls to suck it into its hollow-ish form. Then we have the Demonist Blood Mage, which we use as a healer character. And then we have the Shadow Hand. Every faction has one character that's half a tier higher than the others, which is like a final thing you can get, or by a specific choice you make at the beginning of the game. We have not figured that out completely definitively, and they are supposedly looking somewhat better. Then the next one we have the Warband, which is our green guys. We have some goblins, and in order to have them look, they always spawn in groups of 3s because they are a lot smaller than the other units, and they're also significantly weaker. And we have used blend shapes to give them some variety, so it doesn't look like you're getting 3 clones of the same goblin, but you can see the one changing shape ominously. Then we have made the same thing with goblins that are a bit more organized and have pointy sticks and helmets. Then we have an orc that can help them break through tough units and is big and strong and muscular. And then we have the ogre, which I didn't change much from the original one I made because, well, it looked impressive enough without any clothing or armor. Just got a big stick. It's about, most characters only go halfway up its size, so it's really, really big. Then the next one we have the Iron Legion, which is our dwarven guys. They're very, very well armored and very tanky. Sorry?
1 minute left.
Okay, then let's go through that quickly. So we have one that's just a tank, one that's somewhat more damage, that one shoots bolts, and this is like their boss, more or less. Then we have the elves, which are arrogant pricks that use magic. We have one that shoots arrows. We have one that shoots lightning, another one that is very good in guarding against magic, and one that shoots fire. And what's next? I will try to build the assets that make levels. So I will be making a lot of plants because the forest is a great place to rob people and kill them. And after that, I will try to make some people you can rob and kill. And after that, I will have to make UI elements to somehow control this. Oh. All right. And that's it.
Premature clapping. Hold it in.
Yes. Can you open the slide again?
And there I was cleaning up after myself, like an idiot.
Can you go to the skull musher?
Yes.
I
This
just
one.
wanted to say I really like how he holds it like you hold a teacup.
Yes, I cannot take any credit for any of the animations, and that is actually a bug in the animation. We're using an animation library because I do not have the time to animate anything really, because I
You should
make
keep
all
it
these
though.
characters.
I love that.
Yes, but actually it's not supposed to do that. There's something not working. But yes, people on Twitter have also really liked that. So it's yes.
In the first or second slide, sorry.
This one?
You say they're player characters with clothing. Will they be without clothing?
No, because the last presentation I made was all of these characters, but without clothing. So now we have changed that to dressing them. Even though it seems that the dwarf, the half-naked dwarf, is just way more popular half-naked. Yes?
What's the difference between a blend shape and a bone? Like,
Oh, a bone basically controls things that are assigned to it, while a blend shape is you kind of model on top of your model, and then you can switch between the previously modeled thing and the new modeled. It can do the same thing, but it can also not. It has like different functionality. Yeah. Yes?
Are these all player units or are
Yes.
they
All of them are for the player and for the player only. That's what's supposed to make up your team of bandits that will rob and kill whatever they find.
The good guys.
No, I think Kasper's vision especially is that you play the bad guys.
The good guys.
Well, they themselves see themselves as good, I would assume. So yes, Josh?
Will there be opportunities to mix and match the factions or recruit some?
Yes, actually it is likely that you will have access to most of them or to a certain mix that you kind of steer through. But it is actually quite important to us that you don't just pick one of those and play as that, but build like your team as a mixture of whatever you think is best. The idea is that the whole game is that the realm has become so peaceful that it has become very difficult to survive as an outlaw and an underworld kind of character. So they have to band together to take one kingdom for themselves.
Nice.
Yes?
With the slide with the scarecrow, it looked like it had green clothes.
Yes.
Do they have different colors?
Actually, for now, we don't think the player will be able to choose different colors. They will be red because red is usually used for bad guys in games. But for testing purposes and for a specific mode, there might be multiple colors to differentiate factions. But yes, I accidentally took the wrong texture on this. Yeah. All right, then I will let Kasper do the rest. He apparently did some programming. Oh, and he made all these beautifully animated GIFs for marketing purposes.
Alright, now for more cursed shit. Kasper.
What do you mean?
I mean, all of these gifts were normal, and you only send me fucked up shit.
So, MileStone 1. And we forgot kind of about marketing and unit design. Well, at least I did. So I will talk about the marketing and the ups and downs, at least I have found with it, from starting from zero at a later point. So I'll just go through the things I made. So I made like some temporary UI where you can like check out the abilities, check what they do. I'm just gonna pretty much speedrun this because I realized I have too many slides. So you can also hover over the units now to see which units there are. You can see the range. You can see them through bushes and terrain. And we have this beautiful unit container that pretty much contains all the information about them. So I made this weird, stats container tool where you like can pick the tiers. So you can say like all tier 1s have like 100 health and 100 attack speed. and then you can pick the specific unit and then add the stats you want for that specific unit. And that way you can also go in and like change the percentage. I don't really know, like the max and the minimum. Actually, I want to try something different this time around. So I made a very, very simple state machine where it's pretty much all it does in combat is it chase, it goes into combat, and it goes into attack animation. So that means everything is controlled through the abilities. So ability has like, who is it targeting? It's targeting the enemy faction. Can it target itself? What would it prefer? So it would always prefer something in range in this example, and it would try to take the closest target. Then is it a single target or multiple? Which would it damage? It would damage enemies. What type of ability is it? It's a damage ability. Again, like what type of attack ability is it? It's a melee and it only targets a single target. So what if you wanted to hit random multiple targets? Well, you can set it to, I don't know, can I show? Can you see a mouse?
Yeah.
Yes. So now you can just click it to have like multiple, and we can click it to use projectiles instead. And so we can go down here to multiple and say like we wanted to shoot 3 arrows and what type of arrow projectile we wanted to. We can also change that into like a chain ability. And again, like we just choose the closest, and the chain you can also change it to like how many chains, how many times it jumps, how far it can jump, does it spawn from the character, and like again, which target does it go to. And here we have like a AoE self-targeting buff, where it will target itself, but it would use AoE, and that means it would cast this ability on everyone who's an ally. Where do I have it? Oh my god, I can't find it. So, oh, I can't find it. Alright, never mind. It casts a buff. Like, you can see the buff right here, actually. It's like the purple defense bar for magic. And then we also have like self-targeting healing, but then we will kind of run into the problem like, what if you get into a stalemate? So I also put like a limit. So some certain abilities will have limits on them, so they can only be used a specific amount of times. And then we also have like, what if they have multiple abilities? Well, it's pretty much put into like a priority. So like the normal attack cost is 0, the barrage is 2, and the big fireball is 5. But you need different resource charges to actually cast other ones, so only the normal one will actually give resource charges. And then we have traits. So for example, as you can see, they're all getting a debuff, and that's pretty much just because the fire ability actually applies a debuff through the traits. I realize this might be a lot of information. So like one of the traits here is like called Thunder Armor, and that applies a damage like buff damage ability when attacked. So you can see like they're taking damage when they're attacking, and they also apply a debuff. And we also have like the whole buff system here, where you can go like the buff should be unique. It should be unique per unit. Is it stackable? And like how long does it last? What does it actually do? So here another example, you can see like every time he shoots, he gets more attack speed. At the end, pretty much just a machine gun. And then pathfinding was a fun experience. So we didn't really want this big clump. So I finally found this specific asset that actually made it go around. So that was very helpful. However, this is more expensive because it's like doing local thingy. Oh yeah, and camera movement. You can place the units, you can remove the units, and you now have auto battling. Questions?
No. What exactly does auto battling do?
Which one?
Auto battling on the previous.
Oh yeah. So this example I just put in like 3 factions, and like right now the only thing is in the game is pretty much just auto battling.
Oh
yeah. Yes.
Did you mention what the next step is for you?
Oh, that will be the ambush mechanic. To literally have them walking on the path. You can see the path here. So the idea is that you have like the peasants walking at the path, and then you will have to place your units and ambush them.
So in the previous iteration you had so that you manually have to click when you want to launch the ambush. Have you considered adding like almost like a trap thingies, like if something walks in this zone, then trigger this ambush? Something like that, so you can plan it out without having to click it during the battle.
Definitely something I could add.
So
I wouldn't.
It's not something you have thought about doing.
No. It seems, at least for the playtesting I have seen so far, at least when I watch it, the most fun is when to attack. It seems like, but you know, it is something I would be willing to add. Definitely.
Do you intend later in the development process, will you contend with other bands of outlaws as well as trying to get the peasants, or will you only be like the outlaws taking the peasants? Will there be like rivals within?
We actually did consider that, because like only doing ambush, I was a little afraid that might be boring. So we wanted to try and do more like more missions where called rival gangs, where pretty much just stand on each side and then you just collapse into each other. Like if you played what's it called, Total Accurate Battleground.
Battle Simulator.
Yeah, Battle Simulator. Pretty much like that.
Game
James.
Question from the chat.
All right.
When do you plan to release your demo?
So there's actually a prototype demo up right now. People can try. I don't know how long it will take because we also need the whole camp system in to work. Probably 3 months if I'm lucky. Alright, he's saying 4.
Will there be a debuff that causes the enemy to be afflicted by whatever it was on the last screen, so they crawl on the floor? I feel like that's what a bad guy would do.
Well, we can add curses, yes.
Great.
What kind of loot will you be robbing? Have you thought of that?
Xaver wanted a cheese merchant, but I'm thinking right now just gold. We was considering adding different resources, but I'm not sure if it becomes irritating to have to manage too much stuff.
You started talking about marketing in the beginning, but then quickly changed.
Yes.
Was that leading to somewhere, or did I just miss?
That's for next talk because I realized my slides was too long.
Did you find a compromise in the goat cheese?
Who knows? We might have a cheese as a resource. Any more questions?
I just want to emphasize some things you can get from raids, apart from gold, could be permanent treasures that are upgrading your entire game for some time, or captive criminals that could join the warband, or like that.
We work, actually, what he was saying, we were considering, because our initial deal where it was like a roguelike where you have 10 days before you attack. So each thing your person can attack will have a relic system where you can actually see what relic you will get for winning as well, to give it a little more roguelike feel. James.
Since we can't give feedback, I'm gonna say it as a question. Great work. Looks good. Question mark?
Yes, alright.
Alright, thank you. Do we have more people? My phone is done. I think that was all. Or am I wrong? All right, everyone. Yeah, we had a great time together. We had some laughs, we had some tears, but it's time for that to end. So Take care.